Welcome, folks, to Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka, and Bitcoin back in the green again today. On today's show, Rich Dad Poor Dad author says US dollar is worse when he was asked if Bitcoin was a scam, and he disses the Fed. Bitcoin price mirrors gold's rally. Can Bitcoin surge to 125,000 in March? Also on today's show, Bitcoin altcoins rise ahead of Trump's crypto summit that he announced. All this and so much more on today's show. Welcome, folks, to Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka. Today is March 1st, new month, 2025, and Bitcoin in the green, up about 1.5% right now. Let's get right into the market watch and Bitcoin technical analysis. Here we can see Bitcoin up 1.5%, 86,000 even. Ethereum down 1.5%, 2222 even. Solana down 1.5%. $144. XRP up almost 3% at 224. Doge up 0.5% at 20 cents. Let's go into the crypto bubbles to get a better perspective on things. Right now we have, I would call it about a 50-50 split between red and green. We have HBAR up 11%, XLM up 11%. BNB up 2.5%, Tau up 4%, Algorand up 7%. On the flip side, Pi down cool 25%, PLSX down 15%. Zooming out to the weekly, we have about a 80-20 split, 80 in the red. Pi for the week is up 32%, IP up 20%, HBAR up 16%, Bear up 16%. And on the flip side, we've got Pepe down 18%, Sui down 16%, Jasmy 16%, Trump 16%, Doge 16%, Solana 16%. So a lot of 16%ers. And ETH 19.5% for the week. It's a down week, guys, and let's zoom out to the monthly. We have about 95% into the red here. Sonic up 38%, Maker up 50%, Tel up 50%, Ohm up 31%. Everything else in the red. And a lot of the big names too. We've got Doge down 37%. XLM down 23%, XRP down 28%, Ethereum down 31%, Bonk 44%, Jasmy 45%. Just a painful week all around. Current crypto market cap, we have Bitcoin at $1.7 trillion, Ethereum $267 billion. XRP 130 billion, Solana 73 billion, Doge 30.5 billion, Cardano 23.5 billion, Tron 20 billion even, and I'm going to add in HBAR at number 11, who's quickly jumped up the list, up 16.5% today, currently at $10.5 billion market cap. Total dominance, we have Bitcoin up again at 61.1%, Ethereum still in the 9s at 9.6%, XRP 4.7%, BNB 3%, the rest of the coins combined 8.7% of the total crypto market cap. Currently, we are at a 26 in fear on our crypto fear and greed index. Yesterday was extreme fear at a 20. Last week, a 50 in neutral. There's approximately 1,140 days left until the next halving in 2028, with 164,044 blocks left to mine. The company watch here, assets by market cap. We've got gold at 19.2 trillion, Apple 3.6 trillion, Nvidia 3 trillion, Microsoft 2.9 trillion, Amazon number 5 at 2.25 trillion, Google 2 trillion, silver 1.78 trillion, Aramco, Saudi Aramco 1.749 trillion, Bitcoin 1.7 even, and they're sitting in the number 9 spot. Meta in the number 10 at 1.692 trillion. You can currently get 1,163 satoshis for $1 US. And the debt clock keeps on ticking, currently up again about another 4 billion since yesterday at 36,543,266 million, which equals 107,347 per US citizen, or 323,047 per US taxpayer. Bitcoin again in the green. Let's hope things keep going that way. We've got our friend Rich Dad, Poor Dad, author Robert Kiyosaki, who was questioned. He got a little pissed off, and so let's get right into the story. They asked him, is Bitcoin a scam? Rich Dad, Poor Dad author says, US dollar is worse and disses the Fed. Here's a pretty cool, artsy, probably AI generated photo of him. Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki issued yet another warning against investing in exchange-traded funds for Bitcoin and precious metals. He urged direct ownership as protection against what he describes as a corrupt banking system. I can agree with him there. In a recent X post, Kiyosaki advised against gold, silver, or Bitcoin ETFs, labeling them banksters' money. He further highlighted distinctions between traditional financial instruments and direct asset ownership amid his predictions of financial system failure. And here's the tweet that they're talking about on X. Is Bitcoin a scam? This is what he tweeted out. It might be, but not a big scam, not as big as a scam as the US dollar and the US banking system, starting with the Fed. They are banksters. For example, when they F you and lose billions, the criminals at the Fed bail them out. They should go to jail. Is Bitcoin a scam? He characterized the banksters who receive government bailouts after losing billions, arguing they should go to jail instead. Kiyosaki says Bitcoin is on sale. Indeed it is. The author's commentary comes during a period of Bitcoin price volatility. On February 27, as cryptocurrency prices declined, Kiyosaki viewed the downturn as an opportunity, declaring, Bitcoin crashing, Bitcoin is on sale, I am buying. He attributed the underlying issues not to Bitcoin itself, but to America's monetary system and banking sector. Kiyosaki spoke about the U.S. financial situation, claiming the country faces bankruptcy with over $230 trillion in combined debt, when including social programs and unfunded liabilities beyond the official $36.5 trillion national debt. He predicted that when major holders like Japan and China stop purchasing U.S. bonds, inflation will go through the roof, potentially causing economic collapse and dollar devaluation. The financial author has consistently advocated for tangible assets during economic uncertainty. In a separate tweet focusing on silver, Kiyosaki suggested the metal is positioned for notable growth. He has predicted a rise from approximately $32 an ounce to $70 within a year once gold breaks through $3,000. His perspective on asset prices show his views on inflation and currency devaluation. The price of gold, silver, and Bitcoin aren't going up. Inflation is bringing the purchasing power, the value of their fake money down. And here's his tweet about silver. Something moving under silver market. When gold goes through 3,000, a new all-time high. My sources say silver would take off. Silver is the best investment at the best price. Silver is still about 50% below its all-time high. I believe silver at 32 bucks an ounce will, within a year, double to 70. So I like him. I trust him. I read a couple of his books. One of our books is in the show notes. I always have his our books for the week, which I haven't updated with a new book in some time. I will find a good one to add in there. But Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad is one of those books. You can hear the free audiobook, or there's links to purchase his book as well in the show notes, and there it will stay. So I suggest you click the link on it and actually give it a listen. It's a good book. Speaking of the books of the week, I would go through in order the way I've got them lined out in there, and you'd get a good basic economics understanding going from the beginning of time, really, in terms of money and its value, where it came from, what it's been used for, and what the future of money holds. So staying on the topic of gold and silver, it's noted that gold and Bitcoin have been tracking similar trajectories recently. And in our next story, we're going to talk about the Bitcoin price mirroring gold and possible rally. Can BTC surge to 125,000 in March? The Bitcoin price may rally to 125,000 in March if it continues to mirror gold's performance. March has also historically boded well for BTC price, and there's some great charts coming up here. Bitcoin price dropped below 90,000 this week for the first time since November, triggering widespread market fear that caused panic selling. The dip saw BTC deviate from its previous cycles. Despite the recent decline, there may be hope for the recovery as BTC price performance mirrors that of the world's largest asset by market cap. We just saw about 19.2 trillion right now. Bitcoin price today trades at 84,459. Right now it's actually at 86,000 after a 5% increase in 24 hours. So make that about a 7% increase. Bitcoin price mirrors gold's rally. Is a $125,000 Bitcoin next? Bitcoin, also labeled as digital gold, is mimicking gold's price rally. According to the analyst Ash Crypto, the recent liquidation event that wiped billions of dollars from the Bitcoin futures market is similar to what happened to gold in the last quarter of 2024. In his analysis, he predicted that Bitcoin price has likely bottomed up and could be ready for the next leg up toward 125,000. So here we have the charts mirroring each other. This is from the end of 2024. Let's see if we can zoom in on this. We cannot. So it's a Bitcoin versus gold here in this chart. And, how much more similar can they really get? So they have it nicely labeled for us here. Consolidation phase. Channel going sideways, basically sideways trading. Liquidation event, both in gold and in crypto. And then it was followed by quite a rally in gold. So we're hoping to mirror the same thing here in Bitcoin, and hopefully it does, because there was quite a parabolic climb in gold. So we're hoping to see the same thing coming up in crypto, a rebound from this liquidation event that happened a few days ago, really for the past week. The recent Trump tariff woes have boded well for gold prices as the asset recently reached an all-time high above $2,900 per ounce. If Bitcoin is indeed to follow gold's price, it may be in a brief correction phase before making a strong recovery. Can Bitcoin price rally by 30% in March? Bitcoin may also repeat its past performance in March if it follows historical cycles. This is because March has historically been the third best month for Bitcoin price, with an average return of 13.5%. And here we have the chart of the historical month-by-month price for Bitcoin, and we see November is the best month, 43.5% on average, with October being the second best at just under 20%, and March at 13.12%. If Bitcoin were to see similar trends this month, it could potentially recover past 100,000 and target 125K. Analysts based money mapped this path for recovery, saying it could attain this price between March and April. And here they have simply a one-day chart of Bitcoin. Well, in fact, they're showing future price predictions. So here we have the liquidation event that we experienced this week, just kind of the end of February right into March, exactly here where we see the purple, and then the potential for a big parabolic climb up to over $20,000. It is important to note, though, that BTC did not perform well in February like it did in previous years. Therefore, this rally is contingent on new buyers entering the market after Bitcoin price entered a shopping area. According to the analyst, IT Tech, the recent drawdown in BTC price has pushed it to a key demand zone that has previously coincided with accumulation phases. So we've got, some sideways moving, which they're calling the shopping area 1, shopping area 2, and then a large climb into the current chart. So this is really the historical chart for exactly 1.5 years, since November of 2023. We see the big pump going into the ETF approvals right here at about January of 2020, January 10th, 2024. Then a whole lot of sideways movement, followed by a parabolic climb when Trump entered the office in November. Again, more sideways. We have the head and shoulders pattern, parabolic climb, sideways movement, the other side of the shoulder, and then the idea is from here we go up and to the right. So one of the catalysts that could support a bullish Bitcoin price forecast is the upcoming White House Crypto Summit, which we're going to talk about in a bit. Past trends show that Trump's crypto events have often boded well for Bitcoin, and if it happens again, it could drive another price rally. Key levels to watch in the Bitcoin price. Bitcoin price dropped to oversold levels, which often precedes a correction to the upside. If the seller exhaustion coincides with surge in demand, the King coin can bounce to the first key resistance level of 91,500. The widening Bollinger Bands indicates that the Bitcoin is likely to face more volatile price swings. The price is fluctuating at lower bands, showing oversold conditions. For a strong bullish momentum and price recovery, the asset needs to reach at least the middle band of 93.5K. So here we have the Bollinger Band in blue, and we're looking to test the key resistance level. So we've hit what appears to be a support level. We didn't go all the way back down to the mid 70s, approximately 77, 77.5, to complete that head and shoulders pattern. So it is possible we could still get there, but we have found support, which means the price dips to a certain point and everybody starts buying because it's a support level. They're willing to buy it at that price. They feel like that is a fair price for them to make a profit. And as we've talked about before, when do you make the money in really anything, including financial investments, crypto assets, or even real estate? When do you make the money? You make it on the buy. This also includes commodities, gold, silver. That's why currently, I'm not going near gold. I could potentially go to silver, considering the cost is still quite cheap. Historically speaking, the prices could go way up. But again, sticking with Bitcoin, we've got support level at about the 80,000. It was really 79, 80,000. Once it hit 79.5, the price just immediately went up because everybody started buying. They know that this is a very, very good value at that price, so they all jumped in. And that's how we saw the price kind of go up to about 85, currently 86. So the key resistance level is into the 90s at about 91,500. If we can hit that price and hold that price, then we should be able to jump back into very close to over 100. And then, looking at new price discovery into the 100 and hopefully 110, hopefully 125,000. There's good news that continues to come out for Bitcoin, even though, some volatile times happened and definitely a big sell-off of last week. But a lot more has been depending on the U.S. government than I ever thought was going to happen. So it's almost like whenever Trump says anything positive, price goes up. Something negative, price goes down. Tariffs, price go down. Markets are really following his every word. So it's also ironic that almost immediately when Trump creates a crypto summit, the prices go pumping. Bitcoin, altcoins rise ahead of Trump's crypto summit that he announced. Bitcoin and most altcoins turned green on Saturdays. Investors focused on the inaugural crypto summit by crypto Trump, President Donald Trump. Bitcoin rose to 86,000 of its lowest level this week, while the total market cap of all cryptocurrencies rose to $2.8 trillion. At press time, Bitcoin was up 2% and trading at about 84.5, up 2.1%. Right now, it's just over 86,000. Some of the top performing cryptocurrencies were Hedera, Hashgraph, Celestia, Official Trump, Stellar Lumens, and Sonic, which rose over 15%. Trump will host the first ever summit focused on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies next Friday. It will likely feature officials from the Treasury Department and a team from Crypto and AI Office that David Sachs and Bo Hines lead. Top leaders in the crypto industry, including the heads of exchanges like Coinbase, Gemini, and Kraken, will likely attend. Most of these leaders, including Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss, were some of the top Trump backers during the campaign. The other potential attendees are leaders of popular made-in-USA cryptocurrencies like Cardano, Stellar, Ripple, and Ondo's leaders. Elon Musk, who is leading the Department of Government Efficiency, will likely attend. He is a big crypto backer, with Tesla holding over 11,500 Bitcoin, worth over $975 million. Also, Trump is evaluating how the U.S. government may leverage blockchain technology to cut costs. The U.S. Treasury and Exchange Commission, ever since Gary Gensler resigned as chair, has ended some legislations, including involving those involving companies like Uniswap, Coinbase, and Gemini. As Trump considers a Bitcoin U.S. reserve, there is likelihood that Bitcoin and other altcoins will rally ahead of the summit. While Trump has been pro-crypto, some of his policies have contributed to recent weakness. The most notable one is on tariffs on American imports, which critics say will lead to higher inflation and market volatility. Yeah, so the Bitcoin and Crypto Summit. This is going to be a good time. We shall see how the price reacts in Bitcoin specifically and the entire crypto market on a whole over the next week. It's actually happening in 5 days, this Friday. Again, Trump is not slowing down. He's covering a lot of ground in his first month. So, this just yesterday he kind of argued with Zelensky and kicked him out of the Oval Office. And a week later, he's going to be hosting a crypto summit. So definitely covering a lot of ground. I feel like what he's doing is good for the country. They're trying to cut expenditures. It was funny to hear that they're still paying Social Security to people that are 200 years old, 300 years old, and even 400 years old. So who's getting this money? Well, clearly these people aren't 200, 300, 400 years old, but the money's still going out. So the money's going somewhere, maybe to relatives, family, and it just never stopped. Probably the way it works is if there's no death certificate, there's no proof of that the person is deceased, so they just keep paying. So it's just, again, waste, fraud, and abuse, and I'm happy they're finding a lot of these things. They're never going to balance the budget. I know that's the plan, but they have already stated they're not going to be tackling or touching Social Security. So this, without doing that, they're never going to balance the budget. But nobody wants them to touch that. Nobody wants anybody to touch these things. It's kind of detrimental to their own existence because, if they did some investments with Social Security, if they did some investments with other aspects of the government, they would actually be making money for these things. We're talking twofold, threefold, fourfold, 4x, instead of just the stagnant Social Security structure that they have. And clearly, maybe the reason they don't want anyone touching these things is because they're going to go in and find this, fraud and abuse and fix things. So hopefully he fixes things there. Let's see what happens. We've got this week on Tuesday, we have the Mexican and Canadian tariffs coming into play. Let's see if Bitcoin reacts to that on Tuesday. And then we have the Crypto Summit just announced, which is happening on Friday. So let's see how Bitcoin responds to that in terms of price action. Hopefully we get a pump. Hopefully you guys found this podcast helpful in some ways in terms of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I'm on a mission to have over 500 subscribers this year, so I'd like you to come along for the ride. And it's going to happen, with or without you. It'd be great to have you here for sure. So please hit that subscribe button. And also remember, everybody, money is abundant. Money is everywhere. It is time that's scarce. So spend your time wisely. Spend less money than what you earn. Stop putting money in the bank's pockets and keep money in your own pockets. If you start making more money, save more money. Don't start spending more money frivolously. Start saving when you're young, ideally when you're in your teens or when you're in your 20s, and ideally you can retire when you're 40 or 45. If you have a great idea, start that idea today, even if you're not ready, and things will come together for you in the long run. Just start today would be my recommendation. Again, if you found this stream enjoyable, please share, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next stream, folks. Thanks so much for joining.